Hey, how's it going? I just want to come back with a relatively quick one. Just want to talk about a slightly taboo subject, but it's becoming more and more common, and that's unemployment. And I want to just, basically a word of encouragement to those out there who are potentially unemployed or fear that, because it looks like, a lot of people, at least people I see around me, are always on edge, when I go to work and the past few jobs that I've had. So I've actually been on unemployment twice, in the last few years, and obviously not planned, but, the first instance I was kind of squeezed out. I won't mention the company, but it's a well-known one. Partially because I was trying to just, you know, um, change things, and too quickly, and nothing really outlandish, over the top, but, just trying to change things, improve things, and, people around, didn't like that. And that now, if I knew what I knew now, it makes a lot of sense because people are just worried about their job security. So, you have to kind of play along. And I also refused to work like crazy hours. I didn't just for the sake of it, because a lot of companies just expect you to be glued to your laptop and phone after work and in the weekends. And I didn't see the point, especially because the work that I felt like I was becoming, attached to was not really helping the company. So there was, that that happened. Then they put you on these performance improvement plans, which I've done a video about, which is their way of just kind of telling you to move on. And then so another time, this was me leaving more voluntarily, but also, again, for almost the exact same reasons. Just trying to change things and go against the status quo. This time I was eased up on it. I thought I learned a little bit, but, I was still kind of being forced to just play dumb, basically. And it's like alarming to me that a whole company from top down literally can just talk in circles and not move anything forward strictly for job security. They just don't want to change anything. And all they're looking for are people below them to fail and do something wrong so they can squeeze them out. So it's it's really an environment that penalizes overachieving and then underachieving. So it's like very much, in the middle. You have to stay there and be slightly towards the overachieving, but very, very slight, and almost unnoticeable. And so that's the vibration in corporate America. And so that doesn't fit with me. It's like, again, not that I'm a rocket scientist or anything, but I hate using that term now that I'm a flat earther. I'm not like a genius, but I like to create. I like to change things. I like to collaborate and all that, and that's just not the way it is now. And it's just I just want to let people know it's okay. I'm actually more embarrassed with the people, because people know my mindset now around me, family and friends, is that I'm more embarrassed to be working in corporate America. In fact, like I actually feel like much better about myself and just my life when I'm unemployed, because I feel from a moral perspective, I don't think it's actually moral to live or to work in corporate America, and I'm doing it now. So, don't take this as any form of judgment for those who are, but I find it immoral to, contribute to a system that is completely satanic. And so, it was a struggle mentally for me to go back into corporate America this time, and I have a strong feeling it's going to be my last time, because, I just, I don't feel right about it. It's just, to me, it's completely void of creativity. It's just, they're talking in circles. They're not doing anything productive. A lot of the companies are strictly there to, distract and, basically, and some are actually physically hurting people if you're working for, the government or something about vaccines or food related stuff. They're actually, designed to actually destroy. And then if you're working for military stuff, I don't need to get into that. So, it's really everywhere you turn. This place is totally, the corporations are completely evil. And so, I don't feel like for me it's a good fit at all, and it's becoming worse and worse of a fit. And so I kind of had to decide in my life, do I start the clock ticking as to like, how much money I could have and then run out and then take my own life. And I've done a video on suicide, so please check that out if you have thought about it. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to start thinking about it more and more with the economy slowing down. Do I just kind of wind down my life, or do I take this job and just, kind of kick the can down the road, so to speak. And so, I obviously decided to take the job, but it wasn't an easy decision actually. And now more than ever, I'm starting to think that, it's okay if I don't work, because in fact I feel better about myself when I'm not. And the only thing then I will have to then grapple with is that I'd have to live off of savings for about a year or so, and then I'm not the type to like mooch off of other people even one penny. So I've kind of in my mind slowly but surely preparing, if it comes to that, to take my own life. And that sounds very morbid, for people to talk about that, but again, I think that it's a sign of the times. And honestly, it's really one of the few things I get sort of excited about, is that I don't want to be here from a very practical perspective, because there's nothing to do. It's like the jobs are evil, and majority of people go there worried that they're going to be able to even have one the next day. The work that they're doing when they're there is a lot of times laborious or just non-creative stuff. And if it is creative, let's say you work for Google or some company like that, and you get to do a lot of creative stuff, a lot of the stuff that they're doing, you don't really know what their real agenda is, and so you're serving an evil cause. So, for me, if you're the type who's collecting unemployment, don't feel ashamed. I've done that before, and it's money that we've paid into, so we're only getting it back, which is fair. This whole economy is based on gambling, which insurance is a form of gambling. The stock market is a form of gambling. All the currency markets are a form of gambling. And even a lot of sports is a form of gambling. Like I was just watching golf yesterday. Everybody pays their initiation fee or entry fee, and then they all play to win the pot. And obviously professional men's golf, there's more money involved because of advertising and stuff. But it's basically the entire economy is just gambling. And so, and then even worse, they pay you in terms of credit. They don't even really give you real money, like gold, silver, or something of value. It's just like debt notes to further enslave us. But so I feel very kind of happy, when I'm taking money from our government and not contributing in terms of having a job, because at least that money is directed towards me, and I get to use it in what I feel are slightly better ways than the way the government uses it. Pretty much any way I use it is better than what our government's doing. We're run by a lot of evil people, many of them who are pedophiles. And so, that's I feel like I'm contributing, to the broader sense on unemployment and collecting unemployment, or just not working at all. Because to me, not voting is a vote, or not working is a form of protest, and ultimately this is now between God and myself, where I know that this job that I have, if it was slightly uncomfortable, I would have left immediately. So I can sense that God knows that, what I'm willing to accept, and he has given me something that is at least bearable for now. And if it changes, he knows that I will immediately leave, and then at that point my life is on a the clock starts ticking. And the way I see it is, like, if God wants my story to run out, after my savings, that's fine. That he's designed me this way to accept what I accept, and he sets the thresholds what people can accept and not accept. And I won't accept being like a Lyft driver or an Uber driver, and I know that a lot of people are doing that now, and no disrespect to them. They a lot of them have other mouths to feed, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for that, but it's just not for me. It's like I already feel very insulted that I've been in school for this long and been lied to about the shape of the earth, and I feel like God in many ways is kind of clowning me, and so I'm kind of taking this up directly with God, and I think I'm more aware of it. He obviously has been aware of it my whole life, but this is just the conclusions that I'm coming to. And flat earth has been another major thing for me to help sort of reconcile this life and understand that there is an architect behind it, as peculiar as that spirit may be. Something is behind this, and we hope for a righteous purpose. And even if I'm one of the extras in this movie of life, I don't want to prolong this. It's like there's nothing. I don't want to politic my way into a longer life. It's like I don't want to scratch and claw to live here another decade. when I think that that's evil, to actually do that. And Jesus Christ had the opportunity to scratch and claw and live a longer life or a full life, and he didn't. He just the cards that were dealt to him by his father, he accepted it. And I have to be a lot better at accepting this with a better attitude, and just know that if God is willing to like put his son through that, the little trouble that I go through, I should be happy. And in a way, as much as I want to usher in the end times by my displeasure, and I suspect this so-called elect, they need to start doing this too if they're not. It looks like from what I see on YouTube, some of them are very comfortable here, which is extremely disappointing. I have no idea how that's humanly possible. I guess it's only humanly possible. But it's I need to be better about just not feeling like the world has to end when I stop the race. It's like if God can keep this going, if I don't feel comfortable here and don't like it here and don't like the way the playing field is or the rules or both or the officials in the game, it's like that's okay. I have to gracefully bow out, and we're not going to win, those who want change, because too many people are just zombified. And I was talking to someone this past weekend who's gone through a really tough time in their life, and I mentioned flat earth, and I got crickets in response. And it's like, that's really scary to me, that people can go through so much pain in their life but not want to hear something that can possibly affirm that God exists, and someone's orchestrating it and overseeing it, and to me, I just scratched my head and I just did not understand that. And to me, it's just more and more evidence that God is a mind controller, and he is pushing the chip, microchip implant, which is the only thing that makes sense to me, that why the evil is increasing in the world. And it's like I said, in corporate America, it's promoting middle of the road, follow the leader mindset, and if you don't, you will get punished. And that to me is a breeding ground for the chip implementation, which I feel is right around the corner. But even if it's not, and God chooses to do it whenever he wants, me personally, I'm learning through the Spirit that is interacting with me that I have to be better at just accepting the cards that are given to me, and only whine and complain about the evils and injustices in the world, primarily those that are affecting other people, and the poor and the oppressed, and maybe those out there who are unemployed like I was, and downtrodden. So I hope this video is a form of encouragement. Definitely look up Flat Earth, and if you are unemployed or going through that, just shoot me an email if you ever want to talk. I can give you my experiences and teach you a little bit about what I know about the unemployment system and all that. I'm not an expert in it, but I've done it twice in 2 different states. So, it's there for us, since we've paid into it for years. So, don't feel ashamed. This system is churning people out, and more people are very, very afraid, even if they do have a job that's quote unquote secure. They're on thin ice. They can say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. A contract might not get signed, and everything can change. And that's just the world that we live in. And it sounds morbid, but not to those who are spiritual. But you have to be prepared to die, any day, and that's just the truth, And for those, with faith, that's worrisome just because they're scary. It's just because there's a discontinuity from what we're used to. But there's also a tremendous amount of hope and excitement built into that, because then we can leave, and then if there is a spirit world, which we have faith that there is, it certainly can't be worse than this.